returning to painting. Returning to painting has been a very interesting process for me. As if you've been following my blog, you might have heard or you'd be aware that a long time ago I was a painter with acrylics. I was a very much from life painter. I did focus on landscapes, but they tended to be natural landscapes within cities and portraits or the figure. I was very much, and I liked the experience, the process of being in front of the subject in real time, creating the work. Now, because I would only have the span of daylight of a day or several hours with a sitter, and I would do this over 2 or 3 sittings, these works were very rough, and that was the nature of it. I used acrylics because I didn't have a dedicated or dedicated ventilated studio space. So then I switched over to, I found that the market was soft for that kind of sketchy quality, and also realism wasn't. The galleries, especially in the Hamilton area, were very much more conceptual, abstract, and didn't really have much time for me and the type of artwork I was doing. So I switched over to printmaking, and in printmaking I still approached that kind of rough approach, but then what I could do, instead of asking $1,000 for a painting, I could take the same amount of effort that went into a painting, but put it into an individual print, but then make multiple copies of it. And then, so if it was $1,000 for a painting, I required 100 hours to do that, then I could still get the same value that I would get out of a painting, but I split that value over 100 individual prints, and then that made it more affordable. I could frame it, mat it, make it a finished piece, so you could actually just take it home, put it on a wall. You didn't have to do anything as a consumer, as a patron of my work. And that was, I had, I won't say great success, but I had success with that, much more so than with my paintings. And that worked for a number of years. But then what I found was that with reproductions and stuff being online, people were just not willing to even spend anything. If you could get something for free, even if it was very affordable at, even $50 to $100, and it would be all framed and matted and all that sort of thing, they weren't willing to spend it, because the difference between free and that small amount was still greater than people were willing to spend, especially when you could get 90% of what they perceived as the quality of the original artwork. So that kind of forced me to go back into painting, and in my return to painting, I had now a more separate space that had better ventilation. I also discovered the use of water-based oils, which cut down the problems of the environmental problems of disposing of rags and paintbrushes and turpentine and all that sort of thing, and also the fumes from it. The ventilation system could cope with the oil-based paints. But that required a separate learning process. So with that, I had to learn how to work with material that doesn't dry within a day or two, may even take a week or two to dry, and also the different qualities of it. Acrylics dries almost within an hour. It's pretty much dried depending on the thickness of it. It dries matted. It has a flat appearance. It has a matted appearance, where oils has a sort of at first it takes longer. It has a creamy, luminescent quality to it. It has a depth quality to it, and you can rework a surface many times. You can build it up a little bit thicker also. So it has a very different quality, which is something I'm having to learn and deal with. And so it's a very fun learning experience. However, I do make mistakes in my works, and so each of my works is sort of a learning process, which I expect over time to become better with effort. So yeah, it's really good.